Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have always been America's favorite television couple. A perfect match both on screen and off. Their laughter, their love, and their natural chemistry on Live with Kelly and Mark made them seem unshakable. To the world, they were living proof that love could survive fame, pressure, and time. But behind the cameras, their picture-perfect life would soon face its darkest test. It began on an ordinary evening inside their Manhattan home. Dinner had just ended, the laughter still lingered in the air. Mark had mentioned feeling tired, nothing serious, or so they thought. But moments later, he clutched his chest and collapsed. Kelly screamed his name, dropping to her knees beside him. Her hands shook as she called 911, her voice breaking as she begged for help. Within minutes, the paramedics arrived, rushing Mark to New York Presbyterian Hospital. Neighbors later said they'd never forget the sight of Kelly, crying, terrified, following the stretcher out the door. By the time they reached the ICU, Mark was unresponsive. Doctors moved quickly, surrounding him with machines and wires. And Kelly, the woman known for her smile and confidence, was suddenly silent. She refused to leave his side. For hours, she sat there holding his hand, whispering through tears, praying for a miracle. The next morning, their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, arrived. Each one broken, each one clinging to hope. That hospital room became a world of its own, quiet, cold, and heavy with fear. Doctors explained that decisions had to be made about Mark's treatment. Difficult, painful choices that no family is ever ready for. Even though he was weak, Mark wanted them to decide together. Michael spoke first, his voice trembling. "Dad, we want you to fight, but we don't want you to suffer." Lola cried silently, holding her mother's arm. Joaquin whispered, "Please, Dad, don't leave us yet." Kelly couldn't speak. She just held Mark's hand tighter, tears falling freely. For the first time in her life, words failed her completely. That moment, the silence, the fear, the love, would stay with her forever. They made their decision together, choosing to keep fighting, holding on to faith. Days blurred into nights. Kelly balanced two worlds, the bright lights of the studio and the dim glow of the ICU monitors. She smiled for the cameras, joked with guests, and then cried alone in her car after every show. Those who knew her said she looked different, quieter, gentler, fragile, but strong. Back at the hospital, she sat by Mark's bed, reading to him, talking to him, holding his hand as if her touch alone could guide him back. Her children became her strength, Michael managing the calls, Lola caring for her, and Joaquin never leaving his father's side. Their love filled that hospital room like a shield. And then, one afternoon, when hope was almost gone, it happened. Kelly felt it. A faint squeeze of her hand. She froze. "Mark," she whispered, "if you can hear me, squeeze again." And he did. Tears poured down her face as she called for the nurse. That small movement, that gentle squeeze, was everything. It was proof that Mark was still there, still fighting his way back. In the days that followed, Mark slowly began to recover. Progress came inch by inch, but each step forward felt like a miracle. Once, Kelly said later that she learned what true strength means. Not the kind you show the world, but the kind that survives in silence, beside the person you love most. Behind the fame and glamour, they were just two people, a wife and a husband, fighting to hold on to each other. And through that fight, they discovered something deeper than fame, deeper than success. The power of love that endures through fear and pain. So when you see them now, smiling on television, remember this. Behind that smile is a story of survival, of tears, of faith. And it's proof that sometimes miracles don't come loudly. Sometimes they come in the quietest moment, in a single squeeze of a hand that says, I'm still here. Because when everything else fades, love remains.